Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into a really interesting legal story out of India. It's about how one person's attempt to, well, get out on bail kind of backfired. Spectacular.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. It really highlights this constant tension,
Yeah.
between an accused person's right to liberty and the need to make sure the justice system works properly, that its integrity isn't compromised.
In this case, Gajanan Dattatray Gore versus the state of Maharashtra seems to be right at the center of that clash.
Exactly. That's the one. It shows what happens when those principles collide.
Okay, so let's get into it. Who is Gajanan Dattatray Gore? What was he initially accused of?
Right, so he was arrested back on August 17th, 2023. The charges were serious things like cheating, criminal breach of trust.
Okay.
Apparently, he was a business development manager, and the allegation was that he'd siphoned off quite a bit of money, 1.6 crore rupees from his company.
1.6 crore. Wow, that's significant. Over 16 million rupees.
Yeah, not small change. So naturally, after his arrest, he applied for bail.
Standard procedure.
Standard procedure. And the High Court, on April 1st, 2024, they actually granted him bail. But, and this is the key part, there was a condition.
Okay. What was the condition?
He had to deposit 25 lakh rupees, that's 2.5 million rupees, within 5 months.
25 lakhs. Okay, was that just something the court decided?
Well, no, that's what makes this so interesting. It wasn't just imposed arbitrarily. Gore himself, through an affidavit he filed on March 22nd, actually voluntarily promised to deposit this money. It was like a gesture of good faith to secure his release.
Wait. So he offered this undertaking? He put it in writing to the court?
Possibly.
Yeah.
Filed an affidavit come undertaking. Promised the deposit.
So the court relied on his word, his written promise, and let him out. What happened then? Did he pay up?
Well, this is where it all unravels. He got his freedom. He was released on bail, but he just didn't deposit the money. Failed completely. He even tried to get the condition changed later on, but then he withdrew that application.
So he enjoyed the benefit of the bail, but then tried to back out of the obligation he himself proposed. That seems bold.
You could say that. Or maybe reckless. The High Court certainly wasn't impressed.
I can imagine. So what did they do when he didn't deposit the cash?
They canceled his bail. Straight up. On July 1st, 2025, his bail was revoked.
On what grounds exactly? Just because he broke his promise?
It was based on a legal principle. They said he had approbated and reprobated, which, basically means you can't take advantage of one part of a deal and then reject the other part that doesn't suit you.
Like having your cake and eating it too.
Exactly. The court essentially said he couldn't use his own undertaking to get bail and then just ignore the undertaking itself. They even cited an existing Supreme Court case, Kundan Singh, which condemned this sort of thing really strongly. Called it trying to play ducks and drakes with the court.
Play ducks and drakes. I like that. So trying to mess the court around.
Pretty much. Trying to manipulate the process.
Okay, so High Court cancels bail, but then it went higher, right? To the Supreme Court of India.
It did. And this is where it gets really significant, not just for Gore, but for the whole system. On July 28th, 2025, the Supreme Court didn't just agree with the High Court.
They did more.
They did much more. They upheld the cancellation, yes, but they looked at the bigger picture. They noted this worrying trend where courts across India were granting bail, both regular and anticipatory bail.
Anticipatory being before an arrest, right?
That's correct. Granting bail based on accused people promising to deposit money or furnish some kind of undertaking. And then quite often the accused wouldn't follow through.
So Gore's case wasn't unique. It was just the tipping point.
Exactly. It became the catalyst. The Supreme Court decided enough was enough and issued this major directive.
What did the directive say?
It stated very clearly that henceforth no trial court or any of the high courts shall pass any order of grant of regular bail or anticipatory bail on any undertaking that the accused might be ready to furnish for the purpose of obtaining appropriate reliefs.
Wow. So no more granting bail based on a promise to pay money later.
None. Zero. That practice is now barred nationwide by the highest court.
So what does this mean, practically speaking, for anyone, facing the justice system?
It means bail applications have to be decided purely, strictly on the merits of the case itself.
Meaning?
Meaning the facts presented, the seriousness of the offense, the risk of flight, potential tampering with evidence, the actual legal arguments. Not on whether the accused promises to cough up some cash down the line. It takes away that potential loophole or, frankly, manipulation tactic.
So it levels the playing field, in a way. It's not about who can promise the most money.
That's the idea. It reinforces that justice shouldn't be influenced by these kinds of financial undertakings made perhaps without genuine intent. The Supreme Court was pretty scathing about Gore's actions, too.
Yeah. What did they say?
They called it a mockery of justice and a clear abuse of the process of law. Strong words.
Definitely. Any other consequences for him?
Yes. As a final touch, they imposed costs of 50,000 rupees directly on him personally for this gross abuse, and they made sure the order was sent to every high court in India. A very clear signal.
So this one individual's actions, his broken promise, literally reshaped how bail works across the entire country. It really underscores how important undertakings made to a court are.
Absolutely. It's a reminder of the sanctity of that process and a push toward ensuring the system focuses squarely on the merits.
A fascinating deep dive. Really shows the ripple effects.
And it makes you think, doesn't it? In an age where maybe trust in institutions can waver, how important are these kinds of clear, decisive rulings from the top courts in reinforcing that trust, ensuring the process is fair and based on substance, not just promises? Something to ponder.